Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
Artificial intelligence already impacting the way we work, live, and play. And now evidence showing its impact is also disrupting the financial industry. ChatGPT, a chatbot powered by AI, can apparently pick stocks better than your fund manager. That's according to a new experiment conducted by the financial comparison site Finder.com.
It just doesn't carry the bias that most humans do. So I'm not surprised we're seeing the first wave of AI outperform humans when it comes to portfolio management.
The results of the experiment showed that during an 8-week period, a basket of 38 stocks selected by ChatGPT gained nearly 5%, outperforming 10 leading investment funds in the UK, which reported an average loss of 0.8%. Meanwhile, a recent study from the University of Florida revealed ChatGPT could predict the stock price movements of specific companies more accurately than some more basic analysis models. While major funds have used AI for years, economist Joe Brusales says the technology is now in the hands of the average consumer for free, and it's up to you to decide whether it can guide your financial decisions.
The promise of this is for American households and their finances is that it's going to bolster the overall management of money. You're going to have better returns at lower prices, and you're going to be able to do more and invest in a wider array of products that suit your own individual preferences and needs.
Experts say AI can also help you create a budget and tell you how much to save per month in order to reach your long-term goals like saving for a home or retirement.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
We prepared for this moment for almost 2 years, and our plan will deliver results.
As Title 42 ends, the Department of Homeland Security is sounding confident about the policy shift. As thousands of migrants desperate to cross to the U.S. gather at the border before a new policy kicks in. Dioselina Querales, a migrant from Venezuela, made it across to Texas, but her daughter and grandson were detained and sent to Mexico. She says she's praying so they can be reunited to seek asylum in the U.S.
It's tough. It's very tough. And that's why we came here, because we can survive here.
Title 42 had allowed authorities to turn away migrants like her at the U.S.-Mexico border and denied them a chance to claim asylum. With Title 42 expiring, the U.S. reverts back to using the decades-old Title 8. Meaning detained migrants face a more severe deportation process, a ban on re-entry for at least 5 years, and they can face criminal prosecution if they attempt to cross again. Migrants say conditions in their home countries gave them no option but to risk everything to make it across to the U.S. Ahead of this policy change, resources at the border communities have been strained.
We are clear-eyed about the challenges we are likely to face in the days and weeks ahead, and we are ready to meet them.
Like the Advocate Channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
I teach around 17 classes in a typical week, and it's what I love doing.
Jennifer Portnick is a veteran fitness instructor, but she still remembers the time she applied for her first job at Jazzercise in San Francisco.
I was invited to go to tryouts where the regional manager is kind of behind you, watching you dance. And after class, she told me, "You're going to be fantastic. There's just one thing. I want to get a picture of you with your arms out." And she sent that picture to the corporate offices.
She did not get the job. Instead, she got this letter. She had, quote, all the qualifications for a potential trainee, except for the fitness level required.
This doesn't make any sense, number one, and it's wrong.
Portnick wanted to take action, and a San Francisco law, one that bans height and weight discrimination, allowed her to do just that.
They were going to change the rule that said you have to look leaner than the public in order to be a jazzercise instructor. If it hadn't been for the law, I'm sure that I wouldn't have had the outcome that I did.
That was 22 years ago. Since then, just 5 cities and 1 state have similar laws.
There is no legal path if you are being discriminated based off your weight or your height.
And that's why Councilman Sean Abreu introduced a bill making it illegal to discriminate against height and weight in housing, employment, and public accommodations in New York City. He says people treated him differently after he gained 40 pounds during the pandemic.
It's not only protecting people in the workplace from this or in getting apartments, but it's also about changing the culture and how we think about weight.
Studies have found that weight discrimination is widespread and is comparable to the levels of racial discrimination in the U.S.
This city that I love so dearly is built without my body in mind.
Victoria Abraham testified in support of the New York City bill last month. She is a self-proclaimed fat activist and content creator.
I know I'm fat. That's not a bad thing, though. And I think the more that we use it as a neutral, as a descriptor, the less power it has.
Do you think that some of the discrimination for fat people happens through unconscious bias?
I think a lot of the biases against fat people are unconscious because they're never called out, because our society functions with fat phobia imbued in it.
Weight discrimination has real financial impacts. The average American woman is reportedly a size 16. But one study showed that women considered obese earned $5.25 less per hour than women considered normal weight.
Walking into a job interview as a fat person, I'm already at a disadvantage. My weight is a con, right? And regardless of if it's intentional or not.
But there is one thing that will be different if you do decide to pursue the job market. This new law.
Exactly.
Does that make you feel a little bit better?
For sure. This bill is so important because we're having this conversation, because we're talking about what it means to be a fat person existing in the world, that we are being reminded that our bodies should never be a barrier to anything.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
The United States has never defaulted on its debt, at least not yet.
We don't know exactly how any of this would play out. We kind of have a sense of the likely mechanisms, but I think there is no universe in which good things happen.
One of the numerous problems that could come if the U.S. goes broke, more damage to the already reeling real estate industry. According to Zillow, home sales would collapse up to 23%, with rates for 30-year fixed-rate mortgages going up more than 8% by this fall.
If we default on our debt, borrowing costs go up for the United States, but also for U.S. consumers, for U.S. businesses, et cetera. It becomes more expensive to get a mortgage, for example.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's Limit, Save, Grow plan raises the debt ceiling $1.5 trillion, but cuts some domestic programs.
I have not seen from there a seriousness of the White House that they want to deal. It seems like they want to default more than they want to deal.
President Joe Biden says certain red lines will not be crossed, including the Inflation Reduction Act.
The extreme MAGA Republicans have taken control of the House of Representatives, and they're holding our economy hostage by threatening to default on our national debt, a debt we've already incurred over 200 years unless we give in to the threats and their demands.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Thanks for watching the Advocate channel's top stories. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow, like, and share, or check out advocatechannel.com for even more stories that advocate for you.